Hi, this is a brief demonstration of how to get something that I've created in GeoGebra Classic as a 3D model to be able to view it using the GeoGebra 3D app and therefore look at it in augmented reality. So I've got here just a simple model that I've just made by messing around. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's just something in GeoGebra 3D. I've set it up so that it's going to play nicely with the augmented reality. In particular, it hasn't got anything in it that's infinitely long. They can cause you to have some problems. I've put in a circle on the ground so that GeoGebra 3D sort of has a base to place on the level surface when you do it in augmented reality. And I've made most of my elements of this construction as auxiliary objects so that if I show all the elements in this construction, you can see there's all sorts of things going on there. And because I've just ticked the auxiliary object in most of these things, for instance here, I've got auxiliary object ticked. When I go to this list and turn off auxiliary objects, I can only see a few of the things. This is to make the interface just a bit easier to deal with. So I've got a slider control, which in this case changes the length of this tube. And I've got various elements that I can turn on and off to be visible or invisible. So for instance, I could just have a spiral visible. I could put a ramp in there, sort of a spiral ramp. And then turbine. So I call this a turbine because it reminds me of what we used to call turbine shells, which I used to find on the beach when I was a kid. I've left it so that most of the elements of the diagram here, the 3D rendering, can't be selected. So I've disallowed selection, but certain things can be. So for instance, I can change this, move this point in a certain way, and it changes the radius of the tube. And I can also move this point to change the rate at which it spirals, and I can change this point here to change the overall height of the spiral. So you notice the three things that I've got going on here. I've got a base plane. I've got most of my objects here can't be selected, but certain things can be. The third thing is that most of the objects in this construction are auxiliary objects, so that we've got a fairly simple list here in the algebra view. Right, so this is all set up nicely. What I'm going to do is save it to an online thing. It's a file I'm calling turbine, and I'm going to save it as a shared GeoGebra file. And this will go to my GeoGebra account. So you'll need to have an account set up on geogebra.org. It's a free account, and it allows you to save things on the geogebra.org server. So here you go, I'm saving that. Now, what I want to do is go and have a look at this in the GeoGebra app on geogebra.org. So I'm going to bring in a web browser. And I'm just going to go to geogebra.org. Now you notice that this is going, it wants to go to Classic, which is where I've been before. I don't want to go to the actual Classic app. I'm just going to go to geogebra.org. And because I'm logged in here, when I go to my account here, you'll see that the latest thing has been made is this file called turbine, shared with link, and what I want to do is publish it. And I can add some details, but I'm not going to bother with any of that. I'm just going to publish. So now what I want to do is go over to my iPad and see what's going on there. So here I have the iPad app. What I'm going to do is open, and you've got some documents you could open. But what we want to do is to find the one that we just made. So what I'm going to do is just search for my name, because it's saved with my name. I'll just put in my surname, and you'll notice that it's got quite a few that I've created, including the last one there, turban. So I'm going to open that. And here we have the construction that I made is now in GeoGebra 3D on my iPad, and things that I built into it to be able to manipulate it, I can manipulate them all on my iPad, including making things invisible. So now we should just see that we can do this in augmented reality. So you can see that all of the controls that were visible in the GeoGebra 3D version of this document, of this construction, are also available within the augmented reality version. So that's it. That's how I get files that I've created in the GeoGebra Classic app in 3D mode all the way across to GeoGebra 3D on my iPad, so that I can view them in augmented reality mode.